making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake.
Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. It's Fart Pancakes here, and I am back with another guide video. This time it's going to be for Guild Boss 2, Semrah, I think that's what they're called. Their name, Titanic Ruins, whatever you want to call this. Either way, it's Guild Boss 2, and we're going to do a 1 key entry for 30k plus damage for Apocalypse 1, since that's going to be like the max tier reward here. We're going free to play comp on this one because it is very doable, and I know there's a lot of people that struggle trying to, you know, complete content without all these legendary units and lords and so on. So I'm trying to make this as accessible as possible. So in this guide, I'm going to go over the team comp and then go over the placement, when to activate everyone's ults, and then later I'll go on to explain why I use each specific unit and what they're good for in these comps, and go over their gear, their artifacts, things like that towards the end of the video. So just to start off, this is going to be the team comp that I used. So we're going with a Nightmare comp with a Northerner comp. So if you haven't noticed, we also have this lovely Helga here. I've been trying out a bunch of different units. It doesn't have to be Helga. You can use Abomination here, you can use Alistair here, you can use Micah here. Those are all free-to-play legendary units as well. But since Helga is relatively new and most people are shooting for her now or just recently got her, I thought this would be a good showcase to include her in here as well. So I'm gonna just go right into it and explain I guess the easiest way to get through all the phases or explain the mechanics for the people that don't know how this guild boss works yet. So the boss has 3 phases. So in the first phase, basically the boss has a chainsaw and he loads up this orange bar, and that bar is like the detonation time before he smacks everybody. So the best way to keep that bar down, or you know, keep it from going up, is to use a lot of CC on the boss. So if you have a lot of stuns, a lot of slows, freezes, things like that, that will slow down the boss. So, you know, a really good unit I have for that here is Mari, because she has her freezes. Another great thing about Helga is that if you use her ult for that section of the boss, she has stuns in her kit too. Other units that will have CC, you know, A1 Abomination, you can use Livian from the Piercer comp, you can use Azor from the Nightmare comp, you can use Nazim from the Esotericist. So there's a lot of units out there. That's what you're gonna have to keep in mind for the first phase, is during the chainsaw, you know, he's gonna smack everybody. Just try to nuke him as fast as you can without dying. And then once you get through that phase, he'll go down, and then it'll start up into the second phase, and that is basically his shield phase. So he's gonna gain stacking like armor and stacking attack. So your goal is to do as much damage as quickly as possible before, once again, he smacks you. So you're gonna see that he has this big shield, and you want to use units that have like true damage or defense pen, defense ignore, piercing, that kind of thing. So, you know, Alistair and Praetus are really good because they have true damage. You can use Silas because ignore defense. Micah has defense penetration, so she's really great there if you have her for this comp. She has a lot of synergy with this Nightmare team here because she's gonna get burns from the Wrath. So just a lot of damage, do it as quickly as possible before armor stacks up and he starts doing more damage. And then the last phase tends to be the hardest phase that people struggle through because of the lack of units available in the game for it, and it's basically his poison or acid, whatever you want to call it, phase. Basically he's gonna put down a bunch of poison stacks on your team, and it's just gonna stay permanently stacked there. So you're gonna need really good cleansers for your team. Unfortunately, the only free-to-play cleanser as of right now is going to be Medan here from the Northerner comp. So that's another reason why I chose to go with the Northerner comp for this one. So if you have like Elowin or Eunomia, you know, those are all great units that have cleanses, but you know, for the sake of free-to-play comp, this is what you need to focus on. So if you have a lot of cleansers, a lot of healers, that will get you through phase 3 on top of all your damage nukers to down the boss as quickly as possible. So basically, that's going to be the whole cycle. So this boss fight can go forever, theoretically, assuming your units and your gear can keep up with it. So it's just a repeat of the CC phase, the shield phase, the poison phase, rinse and repeat, you know, and then phase 1, 2, 3, rinse and repeat, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So that's basically the gist of this boss. If you can formulate your team comp to work around having units to address each and every phase, that's basically how you're going to put your team comp together. So think about, you know, what kind of units have these specific things in their kit and how you can put together a team comp that will work for this boss. So anyway, here's the team. Let's just get right into it. Alright, so placement here is going to be really important. I'm going to put down Helga first, and then my Invig buffer, so that she'll get the increased damage, and then I'll put in Demos. So from here it doesn't really matter too much who we're putting down. You just have to play around with your placements for a little bit, just to make sure that your cleanser is going to reach all your platform units and your ground units, and then placing down your units before the invigoration buffers. So I'm gonna ×1 speed here so I can walk through what the heck is going on. You're gonna activate everybody as they come up. There's no particular timing for everybody. Just as soon as their ults are up, you're just gonna go ahead and rip them. The only thing you need to keep in mind timing wise is holding your units that have the CC for this phase here. When you see this orange bar, that's gonna be where you're gonna rip all your CC, and you're gonna see this bar come down. So that's the goal here, is to down the boss before the bar gets to full. If the bar gets to full before you can CC him, it's okay. You're just gonna have to survive the smacks. So if you can't survive the smacks, you're gonna have to hope that you do enough damage quickly enough to down him before the bar reaches full. So now we're going into the second phase. So this is the shield phase. So he just got up, and now you can see he's casting. Actually, he's gonna smack first. So we're gonna activate Dolores here, and you'll see he puts his shield, Aegis mode. Then you see this little blue buff right there. That's gonna be his stacking defense and attack. So he's gonna get tankier, and he's gonna start doing more damage when he does smack you. So again, try to do damage as quickly as possible. So your best DPS is what you're gonna want to use here. So just want to explain, for the Nightmare comp, Demos is going to be the best single target DPS here. He's great for anything that needs single DPS. Looks like we went into the third phase. So this is the poison phase I was talking about. We're just going to make sure we nuke through this as quickly as possible. We're going to let this first set of poisons sit a little bit, and then the second stack of poison is going to come up. We're going to go ahead and cleanse it. So that's the only time we want to care about timing, is making sure your cleanser is ready to go for that second set of poison. In the beginning, you don't have to use it right away. You can probably hold for a third set of poisons, but once you've done this long enough, the boss kind of gets stronger, and you're probably not gonna survive more than 2 sets of poison. So if you can get more cleansers or healers to survive, a lot of rage regen, that's kind of what is going to push you far to move to, like, you know, 50k plus damage on the boss. So again, as I said, everyone's ults we're just gonna bring right back up. So we're back to the first phase. Let's activate Mari, get our CC down, get that bar back down, and then I'm just gonna rip everyone's damage ultis as they come up. So this is just personally what I like to do. If you want to hold your ults to be as close to the Dolores buff timing as much as possible, that's up to you. This is just, you know, what I've been doing where I found success. So Mari, her ult isn't really needed outside of that first phase to lower that orange bar. So you don't really care too much about whatever she does outside of that, other than her auto attacking and getting these debuffs down. So that's what she's good for, is helping your team get more damage down. So again, we're back to phase 2. It's the shield phase, and then this is where we just have to nuke as quickly as possible. So going back to the team comp, I have Estrid in here because, to my knowledge, she's the only epic that has defense breaks, especially for her basic attacks. So she's gonna constantly be putting up a defense break, and that will help your team have more damage output. So that's why Estrid is great on top of synergy with this Northerner comp. So we're almost done with the second phase here. We're going into the third phase. So we're just ripping everyone's skills, and if you want, you can hold here. Whoever's just now coming up, you can hold their skills, and then we're just gonna rip them when the boss gets up, just so we can move through this health bar here as quickly as possible. Alright, so this is the second set of poisons. I'm gonna cleanse it because my team will not survive beyond that. And then we activate Hollow just to get the rage regen back up, not only for the cleanser, but for the rest of the DPS, because we want to down this boss. So we may not make it in time for this next set of poisons. As long as we can kill it before he smacks us, like right now, then we're okay. If we don't down the boss right now, and he smacks my team, I may not survive. But I mean, we're topped up right now health-wise, so we're doing okay right now. But in the next couple phases here, it's gonna get a lot harder and trickier. So I'm gonna go ahead and cleanse my team since we're out of that third phase now. So we're going back to the first phase where you need that CC. So pay attention. When you see that big rock fall at the first phase, it's always going to hit the highest HP unit. So it's really important that you have a really tanky unit here. So in this case, Rourke is really great. If you don't have Isolde, Rourke was a free shard summon unit that everyone had a chance to get. And he's great here because he's a fighter, so he's going to do more damage than what a defender would do. And he's HP scaling damage as well, so you can build him really tanky, and he's not gonna do like Deimos level damage by any means, but he's gonna do more damage than Isolde. So that's why I like him here, because he's helping out doing slightly a little bit more damage, because everything counts basically. The more you can put in, the better. So now we're back to the second phase. And he's gonna smack the team, hope you survive, and then just try to nuke through all his stacking shields. This is good timing here. All my main DPS happened to come up right when Dolores came up, so we're gonna have everyone get in that damage boost with their ultis, which is gonna be pretty nice. I'm kind of like a impatient person, so I don't, want to sit there and let this time pass by like, Dolores is holding on to a full ulti, I gotta rip it so she can cycle into the next one, So some people are okay with holding. For me, I'm just like, nah, let's just rip it, whatever. Everyone's gonna be doing some damage in one way or another anyway, so we're just gonna keep using our ults as they come up. This one was good timing here. Helga came up right as Dolores came up. Since Helga's ulti is a little bit quicker, you could try to activate Dolores before the Helga. And then I probably should have held Volca there actually, because I just realized we're towards the end here. So this is where it's gonna get a little tricky. This is where it gets hard, and it's really important to get everybody back up and doing nuking damage ASAP, because this is where I may or may not survive. So the importance here is that I can do enough damage quickly enough to down the boss before he smacks me, because there's no way my Medan is going to cleanse quickly enough or get her rage regen back up in time for the next cleanse that's needed. So I just rip everybody as quickly as I can and try to survive. So this is gonna be real tricky here. Getting a little scary. I don't know if I'm gonna survive. Got the laser. He's smacking. Okay. So another nice thing about Rourke is everyone that's surrounding him will get a shield when they use their ulti. So that will help with survivability just a bit. So we just made it. Just barely made it. So the scary part is over. We are coming up to 30k right here. So now from here on out, it's you can quit or you can say, alright, let's keep going. So now we've cycled. Oh, I got smacked. That was not great, but it's fine. My Hollow is not there. The Dolores is not there. Let's see how far we can get from here. When I was testing pre-recording, the farthest I got was 41k damage, so I don't think I'm gonna make it because half the team is gone. But the whole point here is that we need to get the 30k. So as long as we got the 30k here, that's all you need for your single entry. If you want to keep redoing the runs to get more damage, you can. So for this run, I'm not gonna save it because I want better, obviously, for no reason at all. But you can see here, the Demos is the #1 MVP. The Helga is gonna be second, and then the rest of these guys are just kind of supporting. So that's what the damage looks like. Just for fun, I can do like a quick recording to show what it would look like if I ×2 sped it and got 40+k damage. Phew! Well, it looks like that's the farthest I could go. 41,240 damage. It sucks that my Hollow has a booty piece of gear on there that keeps her from reviving, so that's why you saw she had like a 300-second timer on there. But yeah, looks like this is as far as I can go. Here's the damage. So looks like we're even on this one. So on the last run I showed, where I had the 41k previously, Demos was doing 120 and Helga was doing 98, but in this run, Demos died, so it took him a while to redeploy, and so now he's a little lagging, but he's still top DPS. So of course, these two top DPS, everyone else is kind of, you know, doing the best they can. So there's that damage. And now let's go check out their gear. So this is gonna be the gear for Wrath. He's on a Soulbound Arcana set. If you don't have that, the next best alternative is going to be the Wisdom set. So here are the pieces and their stats for anybody that wants to achieve the same. And he is on a Max Flux Pendant, and that basically gives him the 30% crit damage because he should be topped up most of the time, so he shouldn't drop below in HP. Next we have Deimos here. He is also on a Soulbound Arcana set. This happens to be my best gear set. I know we're way over capped on crits, but we have a variant piece here, and here are the stats. So it gives that extra 400 attack. And then for the artifacts, this is personally what I like to use on him because he kinda sort of is a HP scaling damage dealer. Even though you build him straight damage, he does extra damage off of his HP, if that makes any sense if you read his kit. So this kinda synergizes with that on top of increasing the overall damage by 10%. Next unit we have is Volca. So she's on Infernal Roar. This is, you know, it doesn't really matter what you put on her, just your best damage gear if you have. So here are the stats. As far as artifacts go, I'm using her own artifacts, so that'll give her the best synergy, best damage. If you don't have, you can also use Eye of Sin. Next MVP here, we have Helga. She is also on Soulbound Arcana, but whatever best gear you have, you can use. Here are the stats. You want to prioritize attack speed on her because one of the specialties in her kit is that she has specialized attack speed. So I went for as much attack speed on top of damage as I could. As you can see here, she's not quite crit capped, and that's okay because I care more about the attack speed. So if you haven't read her kit, the specialized attack speed just reduces the attack interval, and everything in her kit synergizes with the attack speed. So get as much attack speed as you can on top of the damage and she will pop off. And as far as placement goes, like I said, because of this passive here, if she is behind an ally that is blocking for her, then she's gonna gain some of their crit damage. So if you put her behind Deimos, put her behind Wrath, either one's fine. Whoever has more crit damage, she'll do more damage. Next we have Hollow. She is just on an Invigoration set, and here are the pieces. So since she's attack scaling healer, I have attack there. And then we have attack speed here so that the intervals that she's putting out heals will be fast, on top of helping her rage regen a lot quicker so that she can rage regen everybody else. So that's why this piece down here is going to be the rage regen. And if you have these pieces, I would highly recommend, even if you don't have good rolled pieces, like this one's okay, if you have something that you can get by with, this will increase the healing effect on top of the rage regen 10%. So this is the variant thing that made her not revive, because the redeployment time is increased by 300 seconds, but it increased her attack speed by 30. So it's kind of a booty piece, but I didn't expect her to die. So I'm using this with the assumption that I'm not gonna die, but it didn't work out. It's fine. We're using a plus 19 Euphoric Orb to increase everybody's attack speed, so she has a huge range and everyone's getting increased attack speed because of this. But if you don't want to use that, you can also use the Golden Scarab to get her rage regen off faster, and then since it also increases attack, her heals will be slightly better. So for the Northerner faction, I have Rourke as the tank. So because he is a HP scaling damage dealer, as it says here, the scaling isn't great in this game. I hope they fix it. But basically, I have a lot of HP, and then I just stuck in some crit so that he's at least critting every hit. So he is tanky, almost 90k HP, and he's crit capped, so he's gonna be doing extra damage wherever he can. So these are very achievable pieces of gear right here, as long as you can get him tanky. He has like no attack speed, but it's fine because he's just there to tank and do a little bit more damage, give the Lord buff, the team synergy. Next we have Estrid. She is on a damage Infernal Roar set, So here are the pieces. And because of her skills offering a defense break with her passive, I put in this artifact here as a chance to trigger another basic attack, so more chances to hit extra defense breaks. Next we have Mari. So she is on a morale set. Mari, like I said, she doesn't really matter too much outside of her ult and her basic attacks, because you only need her ult in that first phase to stop the orange bar from going up, and for the rest of the time you're just doing auto attacks and getting debuffs down. So you don't have to have good morale gear, just get something that will get you by. So I have HP, attack bonus with attack speed. Honestly, it really doesn't matter what you put on. Rage regen could help out a little bit, and some, you know, some attack or attack speed. Basically, whatever you can get, just make it work, and it's gonna be an extra 4% bonus damage for your whole team. So because she's just there for utility, I thought she'd be the best candidate to put in the morale set. So she's kind of like the little cheat code to get extra damage on my team. And then we have Immortal Warrior here to get her tanky, because we need her to not die. So if she can just stay alive the whole time, even through all the smacks, and then just constantly put down debuffs, that's her job. And it really doesn't matter what you put on her, but Nightmare Samsara might be okay since she's just doing a lot of auto attacks and get her ult up faster if you do want to get a lot of freezes. So now we have Midan. She is going to be the most important unit on this team because she's one of the few cleansers in this game that will help you out with this boss. So she's on an Invig set to buff the team, and because the wonderful thing about her is that she's HP scaling, which is great. So her heals are going to be based off HP, and she'll be tanky. So I have HP on everything because I don't want her to die. She needs to live long enough to stay alive, get her rage regen up, get the ulti, cleanse everybody, and everything's smooth sailing. So as long as you can get her as tanky as possible while still doing her job, then that's all you need her there for. On top of this, the Light's Grace for the healing effects, rage regen. So if you can get some nice pieces on there, make her tanky, she'll do her job. And then I have Golden Scarab, just a +10. This will help with the rage regen just a bit. And then finally, we have our Dolores. She is also on an Invig set, and all you want on her is attack, main stat with flat attack on the substats to get as much attack on her as possible. So the left side gear doesn't matter too much as long as you can get as much attack on there as possible. And then she is on a maxed out Golden Scarab so that she can increase the attack by 5% and the rage regen by 50% so that she can have as much uptime as possible to buff the rest of the team. Another thing that I should probably point out that a lot of people forget is this Pantheon right here, because this is free stats, literally free stats that a lot of people kind of forget to take into account. So, you know, getting that +13 attack, +26 HP, +38 rage regen, this is really significant. So the more you can invest into doing your holo trials and completing it every day and getting your stats up, the easier it'll be to complete content in the long run, because this is literally free stats to make doing the content easier. So I just thought, you know, moving forward from this video and beyond, I'll start trying to show the Pantheon stats so people don't feel like, hey, I have the same gear in these units and I can't do the same thing. Like, do you have the same this, you know? Some people have it lower, some people have it higher, and it's easier for them, so just putting that out there. Also, for all the epics I used, everybody is max A5 awakened and max skill up as well, so just wanted to put that out there as well. Alright, and that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully this helps you guys out. I tried to make it as simple and straightforward as possible and explain the important things that you need to know. So if you use this team comp, let me know how it works for you. If you have modifications or things you prefer, you know, you can always put in different substitutes as it works best for you. And of course, you don't have to use this comp. You can upgrade to legendary units that you have. That will make the run easier for you. But if you just follow this, I guess, blueprint of the formula you need to address each phase and how to deal with the boss, you should be good to go. It's really straightforward as long as you have the units. So if you have the gear, you have the units, this should be no problem. Anyway, that'll be it for this video. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!